Wi-Fi, I think anyone who puts Wi-Fi into a school should be locked up for the rest of their life. I really do. I think they're not fit to walk on the surface of this planet because they haven't looked at the research, and whatever incentive they have, it is not worth the genetic problems that parents are going to face with their children when they're born.
The dangers of Wi-Fi. Everybody pretty much has Wi-Fi nowadays. Whether you've installed it into your own home or you live in a building where it's provided for, whether you go to school with it, whether you go to work with it, it's always there. When you're walking down the block, you can hop on a network. There's tons of networks of Wi-Fi all available. Not just Wi-Fi, though, 4G. The data communication between the cell towers and the phones, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, what's wrong with Wi-Fi? You get to download your movies faster, your video games faster. Everything can download faster, internet faster, search results faster, everything. Well, does it come at a cost of your health? I think we all have this thing in the back of our mind, Julian, that it's bad. It's been told in a couple instances where, oh, don't keep that. Like I said earlier in the other episode, on Monday's episode, don't keep that Bluetooth thing in your ear too long. It can cause brain cancer, right? So we have heard, but with the massive influx of phones and the addiction to phones and wireless devices, I feel like the warnings have been put aside or have been submerged or suppressed, I should say, to where they don't speak as loudly as, oh, there's a new iPhone out, cool, and all the benefits and the bells and whistles that these wireless devices do and how they can help make your life easier. In 2018, it's always about, how can we make life easier? We lived for thousands of years, Julian. Life was fine. Maybe things weren't easy, but we got by. We had to, plant the crops and do all that kind of stuff and hope the weather was good, but we was good. We wasn't dying of cancer. But now, got to make life easy. Let's make everything wireless. I work at a job, Julian. Oh, everything wireless. Oh, can I get a wireless microphone? I want wireless headsets. Nobody wants to be tethered to a cable anymore. When cables have provided means of connection way far superior to wireless devices can.
Right.
Wireless, you have issues with interference. So your signal may actually not work sometimes depending on the interference of the wireless activity in the area. You sure you want to go wireless still? It's it may be less convenient, but you'll get a better connection with a cable, guaranteed. But not everybody wants to do that, Julian. Not everybody wants to wire internet into their home from room to room to room. They want to just put a box that picks up the wireless signal and emits radio frequencies, microwave to the air to receive and transmit, right? So that's what we're talking about today. In the beginning clip, we're going to delve more into that, an explanation of what this guy was talking about. And I should say this. If you hear a guy with a British accent that's like over 70 years old and he's talking very calm, cool, collective like that, like he knows what he's talking about, usually those are the guys you want to listen to.
You probably believe whatever he says.
Exactly. Because when he talks like that, it's very believable, okay? That guy, his name is Barry Trower, I believe it was. Hold on.
What I would like to say is
Barry Trower. And
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, exactly.
Very bad for you. You've got to believe me, I'm British.
you gotta believe me, I'm British. So he apparently was in the military in his country, and he was a radar, microwave, radiation expert, weapons expert. Weapons. These things are weapons and have been used and still are being used as weapons, microwaves. Anyway, so I want to say that I found this information not planning for it, but once again, I went to Rob Skiba's Facebook page, the guy that we kind of get a lot of our flat earth type of stuff from because he talks about it from a biblical perspective as well, which I like. And he had posted a video of a woman named Dana Ashley, okay? And I said, well, if Rob Skiba's recommended her like he did, I'm going to go check her out. So I clicked the video. And of course, it said something about Wi-Fi and it's killing us, whatever. So I said, I want to read about this. And I said, I have to put this information together and kind of let people know, because sharing a link on Facebook or wherever, a YouTube link usually doesn't work.
Right.
So I said, let's talk about it, but I want to give credit where credit's due. A lot of this information that we're talking about was from this video from a YouTuber named Dana Ashley. She's also a Christian, a believer. And, so her perspective is also something that I appreciate.
Yeah.
So check out her video. Just type in Dana Ashley, type in, Wi-Fi next to her name, and the video will come up so that you can get a better understanding, because she goes a lot deeper than what we do here. We kind of just hit on some points to kind of like give you some surface knowledge. So hopefully that's okay with her that we're talking about this stuff. But anyway, Julian, you're quiet. What's going on?
Nothing. I'm ready to get into this.
Don't fall asleep on that corner of the couch now.
No, I'm not falling asleep. I'm very awake and ready and aware to get it. I'm ready to get into this. I want to just jump right in.
Here's a question for you, Julian. Question for our listeners. If you have children, if you use Wi-Fi devices, like I'm sure you do, you're going to want to listen, because this is going to probably change your perspective on Wi-Fi.
Let me ask the questions.
Well, there's only a couple, but you can ask.
Okay, I'll ask the questions.
Go ahead.
Okay? Are you ready for question number 1 to ask?
Question number 1 is...
I'm going to pose this question. This isn't necessarily for you. This is just, this is how it goes.
I know how it goes.
Check it out. Why are pregnant women in China required to wear special shielded clothing to protect their unborn children?
Well, I don't know. I mean, who cares? I mean, they're still there in China. I mean, come on. They're not as,
Something wrong with the Chinese air?
I don't know there,
Is
Julian.
there something wrong with the Chinese food?
Listen, the way it's done in America, we're so much more technologically advanced than anywhere else. I don't know what the Chinese are doing, Julian. Come on. I mean, seriously.
They have trains that run way faster than ours.
They're just trains, Julian. We're talking about Wi-Fi. Come on.
They've got that on their trains too.
Well, why don't you talk about why the answer to your question?
The answer to the question, it shields the embryo from RF radio frequencies or microwave radiation.
What?
The kind that comes out of your cell phone and Wi-Fi routers.
So what you're saying, that there's this thing that they wear to protect women? But radio frequencies aren't bad, Julian. Why would the embryo? What's bad with that? I mean, I know people, they got kids and they got cell phones and iPads and they use them all the time. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, there's other questions here if you want to ask, but I mean...
You didn't know about this?
I mean, Julian...
Oh, my goodness.
A little bit ignorant on my end here, but go ahead.
Further questions.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever heard that all of this wireless technology may cause cancer and other forms of illness?
Well, vaguely.
You vaguely heard this. Okay. How about we vaguely pay attention to the warnings, because everything nowadays causes cancer? How about that? How about we are the warning? Sorry.
Part of the warnings that we have heard strong enough.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. We have foods that are causing cancer.
Foods.
We've got all kinds of drinks and beverages that are causing cancer. We've got things that we are constantly exposed to, like Wi-Fi, causing cancer. Why don't you finish up these questions, Dex?
Is there reason to believe there, Julian, that this whole cancer from cell phones thing is much more likely than we thought?
Wow.
Because I vaguely heard about it.
Yeah?
Okay, let me stop being like this. Let's get real now. So, should the government protect the population from this threat of cancer simply by putting warning signs on the products that may cause it? So why, when you buy an iPhone, hey, it may be in the fine print, but why is it not a big strip across the iPhone? Product may cause cancer. Do you know, in my job, when I sell batteries, there's a sign that comes up in my system that says, alert to customer, product may be known to cause blah, 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 right? Batteries, Julian. Why is this not prominent on all of our wireless devices? If it is as serious of a situation as we'll explain it is.
I dare to say it wouldn't even matter.
No, that's because a lot of people are in their own world.
People
like
don't.
Zombies.
People don't care and they think it's not going to happen to them.
But check this out. In Israel, the parliament approved a bill requiring all cell phones have a label that states, warning, we caution the heavy use in carrying this device next to the body, which may increase the risk of cancer, especially among children. That is in Israel, not in America. In 2011, the World Health Organization reclassified RF radiation or microwave radiation as a Class 2B carcinogen. That's the same category as lead, and we all know what lead can do. Before we get into depth with Wi-Fi, let's talk a bit about our society's addiction to electronic devices and social media, because the devices in which you use these social media platforms on is coming from phones, tablets, and laptops, most often used in places providing Wi-Fi. So you use social media on what? Your telephone, on your tablet, on your computer. No cables connected, strictly Wi-Fi. Use them in places where there's Wi-Fi.
Right.
But let's talk about the addiction first. Julian, do you believe that our addiction to technology and cell phones was on purpose by those who created these devices?
Absolutely. Well, we already know that the people who create the apps intentionally make the apps to be addicting, to what is it called? To omit inside of you, to activate that what's that hormone
I'm
called?
about to get into that.
You're about to get
Dopamine.
into that? Dopamine, there we go. They intentionally try to get you to release that in your body to be addicted to their apps.
Well, let me ask you a question. Well, the question is, don't believe me? Don't believe us? Well,
Don't believe me, just watch.
exactly. Ex-Facebook president Sean Parker. Now we're talking about the ex-Facebook president. We're not talking about some random guy in the street's opinion. The ex-Facebook president Sean Parker said when helping Facebook get off the ground in 2004, he and others involved in the social network thought, how do we consume as much of your time and conscious attention as possible? And that means that we need to sort of give you a little dopamine hit. Take this little joint. Take this little sniff of cocaine. Technically, right? This little dopamine hit every once in a while because someone liked or commented on a photo or a post or whatever. What's the harm in getting a like or a comment? And that's going to get you to contribute more content, and that's going to get you more likes and comments. Julian, we live in a time where so much of your worth and your value as a human being comes from the amount of likes you get. We talk about it a lot. Hey, listen, we only got 40 views on this video. Oh, must have stunk. Or people didn't like it. And it dictates a little bit of your how confident you are in what you put out. It is true. We are, Julian, whether we like to believe it or not, a product of this experiment as well. We do look at likes and say, oh, we got 100 likes. We're doing well. Oh, it feels good to get a like because of the dopamine response.
We're so sick of that darn algorithm. That's why keeping our content from the people who are following us doesn't make any sense.
This guy said that the inventors of Facebook knew about this consciously, but did it anyway. I'd venture to say off the topic a bit that the inventors of Facebook, or at least the ones that made it what it is, was not Mark Zuckerberg. I might have to back that up.
He's just the face man.
Just the face man. Maybe, but I can say that that's not a crazy out there thought. Okay? So, the purpose of Facebook was to build a platform to get you addicted to, my friends, and in my humble opinion, get you addicted to sedate you and control you. But I must sound like one of those crazy conspiracy theorists, huh?
No matter what you say, you're always going to sound like
Exactly. Talking to people that I love, that I know, and we're not crazy. Please, this is stuff that you can just do a Google search and find for yourself.
I think that's probably what hurts the most is for looking into this stuff, and because you're saying this stuff is dangerous, like this, it's out there, it's proven, there's facts.
Yeah.
But people just think that you're crazy for looking so far into it, and they're like, "Yo, leave it alone."
Not everything is a conspiracy,
And
bro.
exactly. And hearing that is like, bro, but it is though, and it's always been that way. There's always been tyrannical governments that have seemed like they were for the people that really weren't. So what makes people think that that can't happen today? People hate Donald Trump, but people don't hate everything else. It's like, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you hate Donald Trump because he looks outwardly like something to hate, but then people will be so quick to admit to you the devil will appear as an angel of light.
Yeah.
But then when things look good, they just take it in every single time without testing the spirits. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
Test
absolutely.
the spirits, folks.
Listen, your phone, I don't know if you realize, is a two-way communication device that uses non-ionizing microwave radiation to move the data. It's pretty much the same thing with anything wireless, your iPad, your tablet, TV, cell phone, computer, etc. Anything that has smart in front of it. Throw it out! Question, Julian. Have you ever wondered... Actually, ask me. You can ask questions, but not every line is always a question.
Have you ever wondered why dentists put that heavy vest over you when? Oh, I wasn't over the mic. Sorry. Have you ever wondered why dentists put that heavy vest over you when they X-ray your teeth?
Sometimes I have, Julian. I think this is because, ionizing radiation is known to be capable of causing cancer, and that's the kind of radiation that is used in those instances. So, interestingly, though, Julian, many non-ionizing products, such as cell phones, are generally thought to be safe. So it's okay. It's okay. Non-ionizing, sure, we can use it. We don't need any vest. No problem.
Right, really?
Okay.
Really?
Further questions, Julian.
Tell that to the people in China.
Yeah, exactly. Got a couple questions that you can ask there, right there. Go ahead.
Would you trust the safety of a product simply because scientists assure the public that it is safe?
So, I mean, yeah, I think I trust the government.
Just go ahead and trust them,
sure.
right?
Scientists, I trust science. Yeah, sure.
Scientists, why not, right? Okay.
Exactly.
What if I told you those who claim the safety of such products come from government-backed scientists and government-backed research?
Well, I'd say that, generally, I mean, if it's government-backed, that means that it's secure.
Because you trust the government, right? Like
Exactly.
everything the government does is fine,
why would
right?
I want any loony independent person that does hours and hours and hours of research and has nothing to gain and everything to lose, do the research to tell me I would rather trust in something that's organized. Okay?
Yeah,
Okay.
Come on, that's common sense, right?
One more question, Julian.
Does that make you lose hope in the validity of their claims?
All right, to stop being facetious. The question is, does that make you lose hope in the validity of their claims? Julian, basically, if a person who's independent that has an education, as much of an education as somebody that is government backed, just because they're not government backed, does that mean that we can't trust them? I would say because they're government backed, I would be cautious in trusting them.
See, that's exactly it. Absolutely.
If you look at how cigarettes, ladies and gentlemen, used to be advertised, they would be advertised as doctors smoking and vouching for which one was the best one. Listen to this clip that I have. This is outstandingly ridiculous. And then maybe you'll see just how different you should view what the government says is okay to use. Because at one point in time, doctors apparently were smoking stogies. A lot.
Smokey the stogie.
Take a listen.
You know, if you were to follow a busy doctor as he makes his daily round of calls, you'd find yourself having a mighty busy time keeping up with him. Time out for many men of medicine usually means just long enough to enjoy a cigarette. And because they know what a pleasure it is to smoke a mild, good-tasting cigarette, they're particular about the brand they choose. In a repeated national survey, doctors in all branches of medicine, doctors in all parts of the country were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" Once again, the brand named most was Camel. Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Why not change to Camels for the next 30 days and see what a difference it makes in your smoking enjoyment? See how Camels agree with your throat. See how mild and good tasting a cigarette can be.
Julian, I want to say something. These are doctors apparently smoking. What do you think the people that created this ad, and not just the advertisers, the people that are putting all of these people in place, they said, how can we convince people that smoking is good? Let's get the person that usually is telling people how to be healthy to, say that smoking is good. So they'll make an ad saying that, doctors are smoking, so I can smoke. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that it says that Camels agrees with your throat. And now today, I know people who get their throats taken out because they've been smoking Camels.
I'd like to say that that smoking is a very known fact to cause cancer.
Absolutely. 100%.
Cancer, I mean, it's linked. Some people maybe have good genetics and it doesn't cause cancer, or it causes cancer later, or problems later in life. But other people smoke and all of a sudden start losing their limbs 5 years later.
Exactly. 100%.
Their extremities are gone.
And then you have a commercial like this that comes out so many years ago, and now today you have commercials nonstop warning you against smoking. And then you see doctors smoking. Why? Because the doctor's philosophy is rolling in my whip, smoking cancer sticks, using this Wi-Fi.
Lay back.
Come on,
So
man.
what products, ladies and gentlemen, are now being sold that seem harmless but will prove to be incredibly dangerous? Let me revise this ad here and say that, do you want to have faster download speed? Think of a Verizon commercial. 4G, whatever, Verizon speed. And you think, I got to get Verizon wireless in my house because, man, how smart my TV can be and download stuff and how much faster my phone will move and all kinds of stuff. Why do I need a wire when I can have wireless? Right. It's going to help me do better in life. Everything that I do, my schoolwork can be sent faster because of wireless technology. We're not saying you can't have the internet, but keep the dang internet plugged in, please.
Yes.
All right.
Keep it controlled and contained.
So here's an example of what happens, Julian, when you don't play by the rules of the government-backed research, okay? Jerry Phillips is a scientist who tested cell phones on rat DNA. The frequency work that he did, frequency as in like the microwaves, was supported by Motorola. Once he showed Motorola the true data, they urged him to not release the reports. So go watch that Dana Ashley video because she went crazy in depth with this aspect. It was too beyond my head to write all this down. It was been too much jargon to talk about. So trust me, if you want data about this particular experiment, the guy that was interviewed was the guy that did it. George Carlo, chief scientist in investigating cell phones and their relationship in creating brain tumors. It was the largest cell phone study to date, y'all. And he stated that there is no conclusive evidence that cell phone usage is safe. When he started talking about the cancer risks, his funding was stopped and his house apparently burned down.
Wow.
Information is out there, y'all. And if it's possibly going to be leaked, then the elites can do everything that they possibly can to stop it.
We're probably just crazy for believing this.
No, we're crazy, Julian.
We're
Crazy. I mean, this is just information that's completely and easily accessible. We just decided to research ourselves and find out the truth, but we're crazy for believing this crazy truth because there's somebody always talking about the alternative way.
Food for thought. How about this? I work in the hospital, specifically on the neuro unit. How is it that I have millennials that'll come on my unit? I have people who are in their 30s, they're in their 40s, they're in their 50s. I have all kinds of people. They come in with, and they find out they have cancer or a brain tumor, some sort of malignant tumor. They find out that this is what they've got, and they're like, how? How? I don't have history. I don't smoke.
That's what they're saying. Yeah.
How? They're flabbergasted. And then you have people who are online, they tell you all the time, watch what you eat, watch what you expose yourself to. And people ignore it. They go, nah, I don't know about all that. I don't know about all that. And then you got people in the hospital a year later, 2 years later, after hearing that warning, like, how? You should have paid more attention. Don't be that person that wishes they paid more attention.
Listen, Julian, is it just cell phones that can be dangerous, though? Well, let me ask you a question, y'all. In your home, do you own a smart meter? I thought I did, but thankfully it was an analog one, old school style. I think. I hope so, because that joint is right outside the wall of my bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. With the electrical boxes, the circuit breaker box. Yep.
My goodness.
So a smart meter is an electronic device that records consumption of electric energy and communicates the information to the electricity supplier for monitoring and billing. Smart meters enable two-way communication between the meter and the central system. Smart meters are installed in homes without homeowners knowing. They pulse RF frequencies several times every minute.
Wow.
So smart meters, y'all, I heard, are the detriment to health. Okay? Wow. So is there any hope, though, of slowing down the progression and building of dangerous radiation-emitting cell towers? Let's see, though. The 1996 Telecom Act approved high levels of radiation. Okay? But also, in Section 704, it says no health or environmental concern can interfere with the placement of telecom equipment such as cell towers. No one can tell them to remove any kind of wireless because of health issues. It's against the law.
That's I can't tell you, bro. This is impacting my health negatively. I know this. And they'll say, nope, sorry, that's illegal for you to report that you're dying because of what I'm putting out here.
Your town, though, can refuse the installation of wireless equipment. You want to know what would give them the basis to be able to do that? Because of how ugly it looks, not because of a health concern. So if you say, excuse me, in our town, we have a quaint little look here. We don't want this big tower. They'll say, okay, fine. You know what we'll do for you? We'll make it look like a tree.
I don't like trees.
We'll make it look like a mountain.
I hate mountains.
Well, then we'll remove it for you.
Thank you so much, sir. That's what I'm looking for.
I guess we got to run for office and be in charge of our town so that we can bulldoze these stupid towers off and put a bunch of landlines in our home like the old school days when people wasn't getting cancer.
Do it like the pillow guy in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Bulldoze them
towers.
Jones. And I'll bulldoze an uninhabited Planned Parenthood on my way over there, too. Here's some evidence, though, of how dangerous these cell towers can be. A huge cell tower was put on a college campus. This is so relative to what you were just saying, Julian. It was put on a college campus, emitting these microwaves that, people can have such fast data now. What the wonders it can do. Kid calls his mom. Mom, I'm projectile vomiting everywhere, and my head is killing me.
Oh my God.
Go to the hospital. Kid turns out to have terminal stage 4 brain cancer. Bro, I don't know if it was stage 4, but he had a huge tumor in his head, right? He ended up dying.
Yeah.
Like 6 months later or something like that.
Yeah.
And other kids in that same dorm died as well or got brain cancer. Oh, must have been because of the food they were eating. Not saying that food don't cause problems, but Julian, I think there is a major balance disproportional thing going on here to where we try to find everything else to talk about what causes cancer and take all the attention away from the Wi-Fi wireless towers emitting radiation. I really believe that. I believe that the immune system cannot stand the years and years of onslaught breaking down from microwave technology. I think the body can handle food much better than weapons.
Yeah.
It's a weapon.
Absolutely.
So and if you want, I did this too, y'all. Go to antennasearch.com and check to see how close you are to a cell tower, and then tell me just how much you love living in the city. I have about 103 cell towers in my area.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
We live in the same area.
Yep. And I work in the city.
Oh my goodness.
You work in a hospital.
Yeah, I do.
Wi-Fi
all throughout
all
the hospital.
day long, bro.
A whole 8-hour shift, 16-hour shift.
Yeah,
I do a double.
me too. Same thing. I'm in
My
a huge facility. Wi-Fi needs to be there. I go outside. I got buildings on buildings probably built to emit Wi-Fi.
This brings so much more context to why we are to pray every day, thanking God for the day, praying to God for good health and all of that stuff, because it's literally, when we pray for good health, we're not necessarily just praying, hey, listen, my head hurts, Lord. I don't want to take a Tylenol. Can you help a brother?
Yeah.
It's like, Lord, I literally, I see it. I literally have an enemy attacking me using things that I cannot see, causing me to be ill. Lord, protect me, shield me, keep me.
Yeah, facts.
So much context.
Yeah. So the shocking truth, though, Julian, is that children absorb this type of radiation deeper into their brains than adults do. Wow. Also, here it starts to get cray-cray, man. Also, sperm and eggs are 10 times more susceptible to any other cells in the body. What are kids highly addicted to nowadays? Cell phones and iPads. What do they emit? Radiation. So now you have some scientific evidence that shows that cell phones and other electronic devices constantly emit microwave radiation that can potentially cause cancer and other diseases. You are also now aware that children are much more susceptible to the negative effects of this radiation. So first, we're going to discuss how to prevent some exposure to Wi-Fi. After, we're going to go into the real reason why we believe wireless technology is being and will continue being used as a weapon against the population. All right, so you're trying to figure out, well, what can I do to stop the Wi-Fi? Well, one thing I'd say you can do is turn off the Wi-Fi at night. And here's why. RF greatly impacts sleep and melatonin productions, which actually repair your DNA while you sleep, which in turn can prevent cancer. So they say that Wi-Fi breaks the DNA. I don't know the scientific reasonings or the biological understanding to really know what that really means, but it breaks DNA. And apparently when you sleep, you can repair DNA. So when you have Wi-Fi emitting all night long, you do not give your body a chance to repair.
Right.
Keep distance. Number 2, keep distance from your cell phone as much as possible. Here's the crazy one. Number 3, and it's easy, y'all. I'll tell a quick story with it. Only carry it in airplane mode. All right. So when the phone is in your pocket, girls, do not put this darn thing in your bra strap, in your bra. Do not do that. There are women that put their phone in their bra, go to the doctor, have breast cancer, and the tumors are located exactly where the transmitters are on the phone.
And sometimes, in some cases, a lot of them are shaped in the exact shape of the phone.
Exactly. Guys, same thing with you. Do not put the phones on the lap. Do not put computers on the lap. I used to do that all the time because it was convenient and it felt better on my back. But listen, if you're going to do that, then you need to go to the store or find somewhere on Amazon that sells the same kind of stuff that they put on you when they go to the X-ray machine so that you can cancel some of that radiation out.
You get colon cancer, prostate cancer.
They have
it in your pocket.
There's apparently like a new thing with guys, which I don't ever do. I put my wallet in my back pocket, but guys put their phone in their back pocket, right? Mm-hmm. And now there's cancer, and it's directly correlated to the placement of the phone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So here's what I did. Without knowing, I was ignorant just like everybody else, completely ignorant, going along my merry life like, Wi-Fi is cool. Until last week, right? And I said, what I'm going to do? Turn my phone on airplane mode. Every time it's in my pocket, every time that I'm not using it, I don't need to have my phone constantly sending signals and receiving signals all day long. Right. I can turn the airplane mode back off, turn it off, and get all the stuff that I need to have. I don't need the phone doing that, right? So I decided when I slept, I'll turn the airplane mode off. I usually wake up. I don't know why. I was going to go see like an ear, nose, and throat doctor, right? Eventually, because I often wake up with like a little clogged in the head, clogged ears. I got to groggy, wake up the first hour, and then I'll start feeling better. But I usually wake up not feeling very well.
Right.
My experiment was, let's see if this works. I woke up the next day after having a full night's sleep in my airplane mode on my phone, and I woke up fine.
Wow. No
I'm not a doctor.
issues?
I'm not going to be like that was the cure, but I'm just going off of what happened to me. And here's the problem with me too, is often, this is habits. It's addiction. Oftentimes I'm falling asleep researching and I don't want to fall asleep on my computer because then it's going to fall off my bed and crack. So then I use my phone, right? Which is not good because it emits bad light. And I understand that, but I still do it because, I'm researching. I fall asleep researching. And then 8 hours later, I never turn the airplane mode off. So this past week, it was off and on. So I'll wake up at 3 a.m. and say, oh, I didn't turn it off. Crap. And I turn it off and I have 5 hours of solid non-RF emitting signals into my brain. But most people fall asleep with their phone right on their bed. Buy an alarm clock. Mm-hmm. It works better than a phone. I rarely wake up from my phone's alarm. Mm-hmm. I got to have the nuclear siren going off for me to wake up. I can't wake up to that tinkle, tinkle, twinkle, little star crap on my phone. No.
Oh, gosh. See, my wife and I, we've been doing this for years now. We turn off the Wi-Fi. We turn off the data.
Yeah.
We turn off the Bluetooth, and we put our phones on the opposite side of our bedroom, and we go to sleep, normally like that. And honestly, that's helped tremendously, but we still have because we're not by ourselves just yet. We will be at the top of next year, God willing. But we still have a Wi-Fi router going on all throughout the day.
Yeah.
All throughout the night. And it's gosh, me and her are yo, I can't wait to just shut that
and you have
off.
And you have a daughter.
Exactly.
And don't get me wrong, I understand completely where you're coming from, your situation in your house. I'm in the same place. I'm going to move out eventually, very, very soon. But at this point in time, does everybody in the house want the Wi-Fi off at night?
Exactly.
Then nobody can search internet at night,
watching
right?
Netflix. People are doing all of that.
So
it's
you have to, when you move out on your own, you have to establish those boundaries, those ground rules. But it starts with you, starts with me, and I have to be better for myself because if I'm forgetting to turn my airplane mode off.
Oh, my wife never lets me forget, bro. She'll be like, Jules, did you turn off your airplane mode or Wi-Fi?
Turn on the airplane mode.
That's what I mean. Did you turn off the Wi-Fi? I meant to say turn off the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and I'll be like, no.
Yep.
And she'll be like, come on, Jules, you gotta go do it. You gotta get up and go do it. I want to get in bed.
So,
you do it for me.
So airplane mode, always carry it in airplane mode. If you're not gonna have it in airplane mode in your daily, whatever, then at least when you put it close to your body, have it in airplane mode. When you make a call, use the speakerphone. Never put the phone against your ear. And here's another thing. I don't have wireless ear. I don't have earbuds, right? So when I'm out in the city walking, talking to my lady, I don't want everybody to hear my conversation. So I say, all right, bro, it's only going to be 5 minutes. But that's not the way to do it. So I have to then step out, invest in earbuds that work with my phone and with an inline microphone. So at least when I have conversations, I don't have the direct emission in my ears. Although I did hear that sometimes the microwaves can go up the cable, but I'm sure if you could just kind of control it and keep it at bay as best as possible, and you don't get on the phone, oftentimes, like you're spending 2 hours talking on the phone with the phone to your ear, it's a major problem. People do it.
Yeah.
Thank God I hate talking on the phone. There's nothing against anybody. I hate talking on the phone. I can't say I hate FaceTime. I hate everything.
I tell my wife that all the time.
I can't stand it.
I don't like being on the phone. Like when people give me phone calls, this is my job.
Yeah.
Because obviously I know it's going to be a quick call.
Right.
I'd be like,
yeah. I tell my girl the same thing. I'm like, I love talking to you, but I would much rather be in your presence than be on FaceTime. I don't like looking at you in this little micro-sized box of emitting radiation. I just
that's not your face, babe.
That's not your face.
It's just the radioactive crap. I don't know what this is.
It's a bunch of pixels. So anyway, and also opt out of a smart meter in your home if possible.
Yeah,
I did hear that it's a tough thing to encounter, but if you can opt out of that or get them to remove the darn thing, get rid of anything smart in your home, get rid of your smart TV, everything, get rid of it. Hardwire internet, order Ethernet cables and get rid of Wi-Fi. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not we're going back to the Stone Ages. No, you can still use your technology. Just plug it in.
What's wrong with the Stone Age?
Plug it in. Plug it in. Plug it in.
Plug it in. Plug it in. Get yourself a cable wire. Connect whatever it is that you're using to that cable wire. And I mean, to the Wi-Fi using the cable wire, you're good. And it's like he said, it's going to work faster.
You can't prevent the stuff in the air. You cannot do that. But you can prevent it coming into your home.
What's immediately directing you?
Exactly. So when you walk through your living room, you can't prevent wireless waves hitting you. Exactly. When you walk into that and go to sleep at night, you can prevent that stuff from hitting you. When you walk out your door, you can't always prevent it. And I understand that. You can't just knock down cell towers unless you're the pillow guy with a bulldozer.
You're not going to go out there with an axe like, darn cell towers, I'm tired of you coming in my home, affecting my sleep at night.
I can see somebody really doing that, though.
That'd be crazy.
Here's the best advice for you, okay? Take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying everything is bad, but most things that glitter ain't gold. It ain't even nearly dang polishing a turd with gold. It is the turd itself. Don't trust our government. The maximum microwave exposure levels of other countries are set many thousands of times below America.
Thousands.
Yes, exactly. Other countries, they say, you know what, this stuff is pretty dangerous and we're going to limit the exposure to it. America says, crank it up. Crank it up. No, listen. Part two of this statement here is not so much about the education of, the technology, but it is about, is your government fighting a silent war against you? Now, a silent war, Julian, is a war that is fought where there's no audible weapons that are fired, and the enemy has no idea that they are even under attack. Why do you think cell phone towers are built? So we can get better internet access, use social media, and download videos faster? Right. What if I told you that the frequency that Wi-Fi transmits on is a weaponized frequency? Ladies and gentlemen, I got some really good information from a gentleman named Joe Imbriano. Found him also through another video, which led to another video, and I said, this is the guy I want to listen to. Because you'll listen to a lot of videos, and you may say, okay, the information is kind of there, or I don't really like this person, what he's talking about, or he's cursing, or he's not. This guy, a guy's a real believer when he's calling Jesus by the name of Yeshua. and that other name. I got to start practicing that.
Yeshua HaMashiach?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I be praising Yeshua HaMashiach. I'm like, all right. Yeah, one day I'll say that.
One day, Jesus, I'm going to get there.
One day I'm going to get that. It feels a little weird. I ain't going to front. It's like speaking in tongues. One day, maybe. Let's see. Okay.
Well, anyway, they say Yeshua HaMashiach isn't written in the Greek manuscript.
Right,
they wrote it originally anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just the name they call him. But
yeah. So that somebody's like really into it, like when they call somebody when they call Jesus that. It's like, all right, I'm going to pay attention to you, So, because there's a reverence there, and I understand that you don't go by the way that everybody goes. You say that if there's something that's right and correct, you're willing to cancel out what society usually says this is the way, and you say I'm going to go against the grain because this is the right way, and that's kind of what we're doing here, right? So,
correct.
Anyway, so Joe Imbriano, listen to him, great content, but he speaks a lot about the war of Wi-Fi, and if that notion to you is foreign, then you need to continue to listen because we are going to provide you with some insight from some of his videos. So, got to give the credit where it's due. YouTube him. I promise you will be a little scared, But you got to be firm in your faith to listen to what he has to say. Because we do know the Bible talks about the end times, Julian. This is not some we're just talking about this stuff without any kind of foundation. The Bible says all of this stuff just more broadly in some degree. And it talks about the end times.
You gotta wonder, if it's supposed to be worse than the days of Noah, if our punishment is gonna be worse than those of Sodom and Gomorrah and things of that nature. What gets it there?
Right.
I think that's what people aren't paying attention to. It's gotta get there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're building a boat right now. And you might look at us and say, y'all really building a boat?
Bring it home.
You building a boat, right?
Bring it home.
You really think it's gonna rain one day? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna rain. Mm-hmm. It's gonna rain. I'll tell you right now.
Get on this boat.
Maybe the rapture is synonymous with us being on the boat on top of water. I don't know, but I'm gonna be on that boat. I'm gonna be on that boat. You coming with us?
I'm here right now.
You coming with us on that boat?
Y'all better get ready. Y'all better get
on
your
this
life
boat.
jackets. Get whatever animal and family member you want to bring. Get on the boat. Get on the boat! I'm trying to have a Dax moment right now.
Appreciate that, Julian. So the Wi-Fi frequency, check this out. It gets deep. The Wi-Fi, and the reason I mentioned Joe and Brianna is because he's like a biology major, science this, and he talks deep with this stuff. I don't understand when you say, "Oh, it circles with the electrons," and I'm like, "Oh," so I'm just like, okay, how can I make this simple? So the Wi-Fi frequency is the frequency that water molecules rotate on their axis when they're hit with the radio frequency emissions at that particular frequency. In other words, it messes up the water molecule when you hit the water molecule with a Wi-Fi frequency 2.4 gigahertz. Mm-hmm. That's the water molecule. And we're 70% water.
I heard 80.
We're 80% water.
The thing about it is you don't need to know all of that to know that when you play a loud song, a boombox, and you have it sitting near water. Exactly. You start to see that water shake and move.
Oh, you're right.
It shake, rattle, and roll.
Yeah.
It do all of that. And it's like, okay, what is that? It's not necessarily the vibrations of the boombox, although that could cause it. But you you could just hold it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can see the effects on the water.
Yeah. Now, you can definitely use waves to move things. You can use waves to move waves. Huh? How about that? Yeah, that's wavy. So listen, the question is, why are they messing with water molecules for? Why? I don't understand. Well, we're made up mostly of water. Maybe coincidence. I don't know. You be the determining person of that. So what's coming though, Julian, is even worse. We got 4G. We had 3G. Now we got 4G. What's going to be coming is actually here, just not implemented or rolled out in the grand scheme, is 5G. What's coming, from what he said, is a kill grid. Gosh, that terminology just sounds crazy. A kill grid. We're in the midst, ladies and gentlemen, of a silent war. They're not going to fire a shot. They're going to cook you with invisible radio frequency emissions. Does that sound crazy to you? Do you know what radiation can do to you? Do you know that these towers emit radiation and your phone emits radiation? Do you know? This is not crazy. We sound crazy. I'm losing my mind over here, but I'm not crazy.
This stuff will drive you crazy because you're sitting here, you're like, yo, literally from every angle, I'm being attacked. But that's not, if you look at yourself, right, in everyday life, and everything is fine. Yeah. The moment you step into an alley, right, and 8 gang members surround you and you're in the midst and they all have weapons in their hands. Yeah. And you start screaming for help, telling people that there's danger surrounding you. You're not crazy. You're just in danger.
That's right.
That's what we are. We're surrounded by weapons and we're yelling out, we're screaming, help, help me, help yourself. Yeah. We're surrounded by weapons, but we just look crazy because people
Wake
can't.
up, people.
They can't
Wake
see the
up.
weapons.
Get out of your little world of everything's fine and okay. No, that doesn't happen. Look at World War II. Look at Hitler. These things happen. Wake up.
People seem like what they're doing, and the government will always do that. I don't know why people are expecting the government to be like, yes, It is true that we are trying to kill you all with radio frequencies. We are implementing these tasks and these weapons of warfare so that we can limit the amount of people that are born every year, so that we can get rid of some of the people that we don't want.
Like one of them.
We are trying to kill you all. Yeah,
No,
so this
facts.
is the truth. The fact. Now blinking at the fact. But it's like, they're not going to do that. What they're going to do is make it seem like everything they do is for the benefit of the public, for the benefit of themselves, for the benefit of other countries. And if they're against us, we're going against those countries. Like, that's how they're going to make it seem. But in reality, it's not. They have a further agenda. We've heard several times the world is overpopulated, the world this and the world is that.
So
Well,
then you
what-
get off the world then. What are you dealing with me for? If it's overpopulated, then go. You like outer space so much, right? You like NASA so much, then go to Mars.
I'm not claustrophobic.
I like Earth. I like this population. If you don't like it, then why do you get to dictate
They
who
can't
goes?
go to Mars because they can't get outside the dome.
I don't get it. Like, oh, the world's overpopulated. Let's kill people. No, how about you become one of those people then, bro?
Be a martyr for what you believe then. Say, you know what?
There we go.
It's overpopulated.
For your stupid
I'm
faith.
going to take myself out. Don't try to take me and mine out.
I don't get it. But this is a satanic agenda we're living in. And that's the thing.
Facts.
When Christians rise up against what we say and be like, you guys are a little too much, you guys are crazy, that's what bothers me. I understand as a Christian, you could play the role of silence and you could just preach the gospel. There is incredible value in not even talking about this.
Yeah.
You can just preach the gospel. That's your job. But at the same time, when the Bible also says what about exposing darkness, right? If you take that route also and expose the darkness, you should also be believed and credited because you know that you live in a world with a satanic agenda. This is not just man rising up and doing what men do. Yes, man has a sinful flesh, a sinful nature, an unregenerate nature is sin, absolutely. But at the same time, who is going to sit on the throne, quote unquote, of God and claim to be God? It is the Antichrist. Everything leads there. So we're going to expose it.
Tie it together, Dax.
Anyway.
Oh, man.
There is a kill grid, Julian. A grid is interlocking like spider webs, right? 5G is very short wave, but it takes a lot of power to push it out, right? When you understand the way frequencies operate, okay? Frequencies are basically, without getting too in deep, because I'll probably make myself sound stupid, but when you say like something is 60 hertz, that's like a frequency represented in like a kick drum or a bass instrument or just anything, right? 60 hertz is a sine wave 60 times in a second. It emits that sine wave.
Wow.
Starts and ends 60 times per second.
So it's like the sound version of a BPM, beats per minute. But 60
you can use that
60
concept.
waves per
You can use
per
that
minute
concept.
or second or whatever.
You can use that concept.
Versus that.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
So, but they're very long, those waves. So they can travel very far. That's why when there's a block party 2 blocks away, what do you hear? Do you hear all the high end? No, you hear boom, 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 boom. No, you don't hear that. You hear the
No,
bass
that's the
thump.
song.
Yeah. So that's So the bass travels very far.
Right.
Now, when you have higher frequencies like 20 kilohertz, what we can hear up to, that's 20,000 sine waves per second. Okay, those waves are very short. That's why you can't hear the brightness of something like that for such a long distance, right? You have to be very much in front of it to get all of that clarity.
Right.
Okay, so check this out. They're inventing 5G. 5G apparently is, I think, no, let me correct myself. Not 5G necessarily. They're creating something called the 60 gig frequency, which was chosen for 5G. Okay, so I guess 60 gig is 5G. Anyway, it's 60 gigahertz. I think that's billion. I'm not sure. I know megahertz is million, but 60 gigahertz. Julian, very short waves. You know why I bring this up though? Because they need multiple, much more transmitters built to basically create this grid and provide that 5G network for you, right? So in other words, what you're going to see is you're going to see these transmitters built on trees, built on lampposts, right outside your home. So check this out. To operate on FM or AM, you need a license from the FCC, right? You cannot put out anything radio without a license to operate on FM or AM, and that's why podcasts are so good because you don't need those airways to operate on to get your message out. So why did they open up a frequency which affects your body's water molecules without needing a license? So what the FCC did is they opened up that frequency band to the public. which ensures complete saturation of radio frequency emissions in that part of the spectrum. You understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They want to bathe you in that frequency that messes with the water molecules. When you listen to Z100, you're not bathing in that. When a radio station.
Yeah.
When you got 5 people in your car, all using Wi-Fi, you're getting bathed in that. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So now they got us addicted to our devices, and they're going to bring a new technology into play, Julian, because they said at 2.4 gigahertz is too congested. Oh, now there's too many people using it. You can't use anything at 2.4. You can't use anything because you get canceled out because there's too much of it in the air, right? So they're going to be broadcasting at 60 gigahertz. 60 gigahertz is, you ready for this? Is the oxygen molecule absorption spectrum.
Wow.
So they got the water at 2.4. Now they got oxygen at 60 gigahertz. This is the frequency that the oxygen molecule reacts to. It affects oxygen molecules and affects your ability to produce vitamin D. You won't have the right oxygen levels in your blood, causing an array of health problems.
Wow.
This frequency band does not travel far, as I said, so they have to put towers, like I mentioned, closer together. There are 2 locations where this is actually already rolled out in schools, and it created paralysis, arrhythmia, neurological problems, people passing out, and fatigue, where it's already been rolled out, interestingly enough. When they officially roll it out, though, Julian, they will turn it on in such a way. You ready for this? You ready for this, y'all? Listen, if you haven't listened to all episode, then please listen to this. When they roll it out, it will seem like polio came back.
Oh, my goodness.
And guess what, y'all? They will have a vaccine for it.
Of course.
We hear about vaccines all the time in the news. You need a vaccine, 25 of them before you even get to the first grade. You need the flu shot vaccine. You need everything vaccine to stay healthy, right? They're going to blame it on some newly discovered strain, and they're going to have a shot ready for you, and they're going to make it mandatory. This all comes from the videos I watched with Joe and Brianna. I got educated pretty well, and it's pretty crazy because I'll tell you what, everything that he's saying, some stuff is like future-based stuff, like it's going to happen this way, but when you look at vaccines, and when you look at all of the stuff in the past, it's all true. So it's just a matter of time before what he's saying is he's only basing it off of evidence from the past and his knowledge of the future.
You create the problem, and then you provide the solution, and you make them pay for it.
Order out of chaos, my friend.
Exactly. It's absolutely absurd, and it's crazy how people it's documented history that it's happened, not just in our culture but other cultures. It's happened before. So how do we look at it and go, nah, man, this is 2018, baby? Like, no, it's 2018. It's only going to get worse. And as a Christian, you're supposed to know it's only supposed to get more wicked. So if they did this way back when, that means whatever they're coming with is going to be worse than what they did back then. Not 2018, baby, everything gravy. No, it's 2018. You better get prepared.
Stop putting gravy in your mashed potatoes.
Stop. Oh, my goodness.
So
gravy train has left. The gravy train has
exactly.
left.
So 5G, Julian, is going to be on the crowd control frequencies. These are frequencies that have been used by the military to make people collapse, hear voices, pass out, burn their skin. This is weapons, Julian. Listen, we're gonna have to do a video on MK Ultra, on modern day MK Ultra, mind control, people hearing voices, changing their entire life, making them miserable, and then going out and doing heinous crimes, right?
Right, absolutely.
The British guy that we talked about in the beginning, that had the voice in the beginning of this episode, he said, with his knowledge of how they do things, he says, if I was doing this, I can turn you into an assassin in 3 days.
Wow.
All through microwaves.
Wow.
You being used as a weapon. And then you think about all the killings. And you think about all the stuff that goes down. Listen, I don't care if there's demons in those waves or not. It's happening. So they're going to induce some bizarre illness with these frequency manipulations and blame it on, the homeless, immigrants, spreading some new undiscovered pathogen. It will be a means for forced vaccinations. Children are required to have an iPad, Julian, or a Chromebook or anything, that basically they can replace as their notebook at schools, right? So there are studies that have been conducted by the military on rats. Check this out. If you got kids, I'm telling you right now, check this out. I'm so passionate about this because I want people to know. If you got kids, listen, these are studies that have been conducted by the military on rats where they applied a microwave transmitter to a rat's abdomen for 15 minutes a day for 15 days, and they sacrificed the rat and analyzed the ovarian reserves. And in some cases, the ovarian reserves were down 70%, and that's only in 2 weeks. They put an iPad antenna on the bottom of an iPad, and that's always put on your lap for the most part. So you go to school all day long using iPads, right? Wireless technology in the school. You come home, you do your homework on your iPad, on your MacBook Pro, always on your lap. Or you just think that you could put a pillow in between, it's going to stop it. That's what I used to think.
That's what
I found a pillow on a little it'll be the brick wall that'll prevent the radiation. This is 15 days, 15 minutes a day, 70%. Ovarian reserves were down. I understand it's just rats, but this is real life flesh
The
of
things
an
that
animal.
they give to us, the things that they use that works on us, they test on lab rats and stuff like that anyway.
So check this out. You ready for this? Here's some crazy stuff for you.
Difference here.
Artemis is a corporation involved in the coming 5G. Okay, you know what the symbol of Artemis is?
What's the symbol of
An
Artemis?
inverted uterus, and Artemis is the god of fertility.
Wow.
You can't deny this stuff. This is why people get so passionate about it and then get called crazy because the information is not spoken about on media. It's not. But when you hear it, you're like, oh, okay, bro. You're either going to be like, these guys are crazy or this information is crazy, conspiracy, whatever. Or you say, how can you deny this? The reasoning for all of this, Julian, to produce illness and force vaccinations on the unexpected masses. Here's it is. The agenda apparently is aimed at the girls. The girls are born with a finite number of eggs. Infertility now is off the charts.
This is true.
If you are struggling, I'm not a married man, so I don't know this yet, but if people are struggling with infertility, my best advice based on this, I am not a doctor, okay? But first thing I would do is I would rip the Wi-Fi out of my house. First thing, with the most righteous of anger, I would throw it, break it against the wall, and I would start fresh. And I would hopefully try to regenerate, if you can, I don't know if women can, but just try to implement a healthier, less microwaving aspect in my home, right? That's my advice I would give, and get the phones out of the pocket, turn them on airplane mode. Shoot, go get a flip phone. You know what I mean? Although don't get me wrong, like it's not always Wi-Fi; it's just the data also as well.
Yeah,
So just
absolutely.
any if you have a wireless phone in your house, get a landline phone. I heard putting a wireless hand phone device thing that we all had back in like the 90s before cell phones became like the phone of the house.
Yes.
I heard that's like putting a Wi-Fi tower in your home or a cell tower in your inside of your home.
Yep.
What's wrong with a landline? What's wrong with when we grew up, Julian? We're not that old. We're not.
Not gonna
we're
lie,
not
I miss
from
the landline.
Yeah, we're
I
not from the
miss that phone.
70s. This is not some archaic stuff. I never had a problem picking up that bulky phone with a coily cable. You know, I got the lady Dana Ashley from the YouTube. She was talking about, when we were kids, we'd wrap the cable around our head. You know what I mean? Like, it'd be stupid. Like, what's wrong with a cable, man? Just talk on the big phone.
You use it at work, you know?
Thank God, when I'm on the phones at work, I'm all connected. I'm all connected. So there may be Wi-Fi in the area, but in my little domain, my cubicle, shut up, Siri. I don't want to. What's talking to you, Siri? Just.
She was like, "Hey, don't be talking about me."
but I'm all connected. My headset is all wired in. Everything is wired into the internet. There's nothing Wi-Fi going on in my cubicle area. So I mean, I'm happy about that. Did you know? Side fact here that Apple sold their first computer for $666.66.
I did know that, which is very weird, odd, crazy, odd. Why?
You
Why?
could simply say,
Why'd they do that?
coincidence. I heard that the actual builder of the Apple products, not Steve Jobs, the actual the Wozniak or whatever his name is, said that he just all same numbers or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
of course,
Okay.
6 though,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
That's just your
everybody.
favorite,
You don't even have to be a
right.
Christian to know that 666 is a demonic number.
Not at all.
Come on.
That was something I was going to say, but I don't even think it matters.
Listen, I think that we've gotten across to everybody here. You sense the passion, the desire, the need to really reevaluate. That's all we're saying.
Yeah.
Reevaluate your stance with wireless technology. If you've seen, technology has exploded. The Bible even talks about this too. That the explosion of technology is usually the sign of the end times. I forgot where in the Old Testament it says that, but it does say that. And you have to wonder.
The advancement of knowledge where people will be traveling.
Yeah. There you go. So you have to wonder, with all the advancement of technology, that's fine. Buildings are built and all kinds of stuff. But wireless technology is like the craze. Everything wireless. Cell phones dictate everything we do all day long, right? Everything. They've made little homes in cell phones. Like, they are our home. We can survive on the street without a home as long as we have a cell phone. Seriously. But we can't be in our home without a cell phone.
Right.
So it's like there's so much wireless, and all we're saying is that just reevaluate how much of it you use. And I'd say, if you got anything from this, if we as grown adults can absorb, or our immune systems can stand against these microwaves easier or better than a child, if you got children, you need to start implementing more control over these devices. I mean, me personally, I know you got something to say. I got you in 1 second. Me personally, I would say, don't even let the kid use the iPad surveillance by you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I've been hearing stories of crazy stuff where people, their kids get their devices and it's addiction central.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go crazy with that. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to dictate what parents should do. I'm just saying, if it was me, I would try my best to monitor that and realize that I do know that we live in 2018, but that doesn't mean that that's just, okay, here, iPad. Like, I want to make sure that there is some boundary there. And if they do use it, even if you're, monitoring it, keep it away from their body. Put it on a table. If they're going to be using wireless, if you still have Wi-Fi now, put it on the table, rest it up, prop it up. Do not let them put these things on their lap. Right. They are Wi-Fi transmitters transmitting right to their reproductive organs. You
got to protect yourself. You got to protect your kids. As technology grows, our dependency on it grows. And I think that's what people aren't paying attention to. The more you get, the more you want.
Yep.
The more you get, the more dependent you are. I know people that can absolutely, they can tell you how to get all around a MacBook and an iPhone and all of that. They know the ins and outs of it. But if you put them in New Hampshire and just, let's go camping for a weekend.
Oh my gosh.
They don't know how to interact with nature. They don't know how to just be a part. We came from the dust of this earth. We came from the dirt, and we don't know how to interact with it. That's a detriment. Because if any given time any of this stuff shut off, would you be able to survive without it? That's dangerous. That's scary. This stuff is killing you, and they know it. That's why the Bible warns us. It's like, that's what they're using it for so many different things. They're using it to give us their messages that they want to give us. They're controlling our minds using it, because frequency also controls your brain activity, the brain fluids and all of that stuff that goes on in your mind. We're made up of water, but our brain, your cerebral fluids, those can be controlled by frequencies. There's scientific experiments on that as well. So when you're listening, that's why it's important not to really listen to a lot of secular music, because literally the frequencies at which these things are produced are made to control your mind and to change you. Think about it.
It doesn't happen the same day. And I want to let people know, as you say that, it's very, very interesting, that this stuff doesn't just happen the next day. This is an over-the-time thing. So don't look at it like, oh, I'm fine. We good. We have wireless. We're fine. I don't got any problems. Be careful with that thought. Be careful. Because the enemy usually does things very subtly over time. That's where the damage gets done. That's where smoking causes cancer. The 30-plus years of smoking, where you reach the point where there's no return. Right? The damage is done over time. So, unfortunately, our families, we've lived with this stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
But it's never too late to at least try to stop the process. Hopefully, damage has not been done and you can reverse. And then, honestly, this conversation makes me want to just shut down Facebook, shut down Instagram, screw that, and just say, forget internet. Like, not like as in like, but Wi-Fi, like completely reevaluate. Because why do we seem crazy just saying, forget the internet, when 20 years ago, it really was non-existent. Like,
Yeah.
we were fine without it.
You're shutting down it's all the millennials know. It's all, and I think people would group me in millennials, but I look at millennials as 2000 and on.
Yeah.
But when you look at that, that's all they know. That's their life. That's where their friends are. They don't hang out with their friends. And if they do hang with their friends, they're worried about the Instagram stuff. They don't know how to just chill. Me and you, we could get together. We could have a conversation for like a whole hour, bro.
Yeah.
A whole hour just talking, not even looking at
We
our
do that
phones.
too much, actually.
We do.
Right before the podcast, we meet up at 10 o'clock, and it's now 2 o'clock. We didn't even start the podcast yet. You can't stop talking.
People don't know how to converse with each other. They don't know how to build relationships. They don't know how to just have friendships.
Nah, bro.
And then it's also a day and age where people can't even really be trusted because constantly, if it's not the poison, literal, because it's war, it's like you can't even see it. If it's not that, it's them controlling your brain. If it's not them not controlling your brain, it's them controlling what you see on TV and monitoring the way that you look at things like politics in your everyday life. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's not just this. It's not just the cancer that they're literally putting inside of you. They're growing it in you using these things. It's not just that. It's everything. And we're just trying to warn people of that.
If you would know the real purpose of the elite and the agenda, the satanic underlyings of what's going on, then most of the stuff we're saying is not going to come off as crazy.
Facts.
If you just knew the purpose of Satan, and like I said earlier, the Antichrist and all that stuff that the Bible talks about, if you just paid attention to the broader spectrum, then you would understand the little micro stuff that we talk about is not crazy, because you could say, this might be what's going to lead to that. This might be real signs. And it may not happen in 5 years, may happen in 10 years. Mm-hmm. Jesus may tarry, but there's nothing wrong with looking at a news story or looking at something and saying, I'm going to reevaluate because I don't trust my media. Mm-hmm. It's been known to lie to me. I'm not going to trust my media. I'm not going to trust these people in government where they have more wickedness and more sexual sin than the whole world combined at times.
Oh my goodness.
The more devilish ways of these people, and I'm going to trust this. Don't get me wrong. I understand that the government is ruled and by people and leadership where we have to adhere to certain. I get it, but at the same time, in my thinking, in my everyday thought, as my research to grow in knowledge of what's going on in this world, to talk about it. I don't have to sit there and just be, believe in everything. I can have an opinion, an alternate approach to this particular story. Mm-hmm. And we should not feel wrong for looking at something deeper just because we don't listen to the media at face value.
Right. Just to say one last thing, in case you didn't want to take it and believe us because of the way that we speak, I just want to say it like this because, like I said earlier in the show, if it's said in a British accent, you have to believe it, all right? So I just want to say is be careful what you use. Wi-Fi, it's very dangerous. You also want to be careful of the 4G, and you want to also be careful of the things that you listen to, okay? You got to listen to me because I got a British accent.
Shout out to the British accent folk, y'all. Y'all be making everything sound so smart sometimes. Listen, I'll tell you what, though. I would believe the media if I lived in Britain. Oh, listen, y'all. This is the Dax and Julian Show. Topic of the day. Thank you so much for listening. If you guys gained some insight here, we're going to drop the links to those videos that we were talking about. Hopefully, you guys would feel more inclined to go and do further research if this kind of woke you up a little bit. Our goal here was just to wake you up.
Yes.
Not to completely enlighten you to the furthest extent of your knowledge. It's just to get your eyes open a little bit.
Right.
So thank you for listening. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/the Dax and Julian Show, because the more that we are supported, the more that we'll be able to have free time to put this content out even further. In these last days.
We want to leave our jobs so we can do this for you, okay?
Amen.
That's what we're trying to say.
Patreon link is in the show notes. Also, iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher. Make sure you leave a 5-star review. Please, y'all. We say this every single show and we're still stuck on the 14 reviews.
Oh, my God.
Come on, y'all. We need you to just go. We need it. Click the button. Just get out of the podcast app. Go to iTunes. Click the button. No, I'm just kidding. But please do that because we need more than 14 reviews. This is crazy. Crazy. Anyway, and let us know in the we have a link, info@daxandjulian.com. Right. hit us up. Let us know what you thought. You know, give us some ideas. We'd love to interact with people. We're real human beings, not bots.
That's right. That's correct.
All right. So thank you so much for listening. And until next time, next week we're going to have more news. Hopefully we will have another topic as well.
Oh, man, another impactful topic.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
It's the Dax and Julian Show.
Yeah, baby.
Peace.